Hey everybody, this is Doing Lines. This is the sports betting podcast where we bet on not really all the sports, but a lot of the sportsier stuff of sports, especially American football. I'm your host, Kyle Ayers. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Austin Huff.
Is this the point where we can talk about the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight yet? Or
I don't want to. I think takes on that fight have aged worse than the people in it. And...
Well, one of the persons in it.
If this is your first time listening to the podcast, basically every week we line up 6 random bets that you're not going to find at a bookie. You're not going to find at a sports book. You're probably not even going to find at a local bar that shows horse races you've never heard of and has a guy in a corner with a notepad. We got weird bets. We got a new guest every week, and they got $1,000 for fake charity to try and win that. And then, you know, we're coming into week 12 here, the fresh off the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. I saw
$1,000 of fake cash.
Fake cash, yeah.
Yeah, we should, in case the IRS is listening. But it's not like the IRS will be around much longer with the.
That's
with
true.
the
That's true. I did see. I don't want to harp too long on the Jake Paul fight. He actually signed up today for his next one. This guy won't leave me alone.
Seriously?
Yeah, he's fighting Steve Gleason.
Everyone thought that they were having buffering issues with Netflix, but it just turns out that Jake Paul's car was driving that slow entering the ring.
I don't. It's our fault. It's our fault for being like, oh, the 58-year-old guy will beat up that guy who trains every day. The 58-year-old guy. Time has certainly never come for everyone.
No. Well, especially anyone that has $20 million riding on a fight that he only gets paid if he makes it past round 7.
Yeah,
so,
he certainly won't take his time.
Did you see? I'm here for conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah.
Well, like the fun conspiracy theories, not the InfoWars conspiracy theories. But
you mean the Onion?
Yeah, you're right. I like the conspiracy theory that around the first or the second round, Mike Tyson came out hot and he was landing some punches on Jake Paul and he looked good. And then from then on looked very old.
Yeah.
And there's a video circulating online of them kind of, getting in close and kind of huddling up, kind of hugging each other. And people believe that Jake Paul whispered in Mike's ear, like, hey, let's keep each other upright through 7 rounds so we each get paid. To which Mike Tyson then taps him on the back with his glove, like as if he's acknowledging what he said. And then from then on out, Mike Tyson was just
maybe something like that happened, but it just feels easier that Jake Paul's corner would send someone to whisper to Mike Tyson's corner or some shit like that than them trying to whisper it in the middle of this thing. I think Jake Paul at one point had a lav mic surgically implanted in his chest just to make content faster. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, as a vlogger for sure.
I am trying to, just because the pun works so well, I do think Jake Paul will eventually end up fighting Michael J. Box. And
jeez, damn it.
Who looked good, but then shaky later on.
Okay.
It's just embarrassing all around. Just fight anyone. It's all of our faults for watching it.
It is. No, and that's what I felt immediately after it ended. I said, the American public were the real jokers of this fight. Because the fact that any of us thought that Jake Paul was going to try and knock out Mike Tyson or the vice versa. Mike Tyson was going to try and knock out, especially when they had so much in their contracts riding on this.
And not just that he just wanted a bunch of money.
Yeah, fewer rounds that were shorter in length than most boxing matches. And apparently in the contract, Mike Tyson was not allowed to throw any uppercuts. So
I don't know what is or isn't real, but I do know that everything is essentially Cameo, the app. And that's all this boxing fight was 2 long cameos.
Yeah.
We paid a guy $40 million and got $20 million to do a cameo on Netflix. That's all anything is
who was hit harder that in that fight? Mike Tyson, Jake Paul or Netflix?
I know. I can't imagine Netflix trying to advertise that. Honestly, no one came out of that looking older than Jerry Jones. And I know Jerry Jones is the oldest person in the entire world, but when they interviewed him, it was like psychotic. He
Yeah.
feels like he's like cursed, like a Dungeons and Dragons character lurking around. And all you have to do is like destroy six of Michael Irvin's suits, and then he will be vulnerable enough to like die.
Well, normally Dungeons and Dragons are played in dark rooms, and we know that Jerry Jones is
Right? No curtains.
knows
No
nothing
curtains up.
about dark rooms. Yeah.
No.
Kyle, is as a Chiefs fan, are you nervous about the Chiefs Ravens game streamed on, or yeah, Chiefs
Chief
Ravens, right?
Steelers on
Chiefs
Christmas.
Steelers, Chiefs Steelers streamed on Netflix.
No, because I'm gonna be watching on streameast.co.door.the anyways. So it's unfortunate for Netflix that works on my Xbox. So I can use my Xbox and Microsoft Edge browser to just
Okay.
watch these games on wherever
Well, it
they end up
doesn't
being
matter
on.
what box you watch it on if you watch it on Netflix, because that will be an Xbox. Just based on that,
Um,
that streaming was so bad. It was
yeah, it
so
was.
bad. And I used multiple devices and it still couldn't work. Half the fight I
I mean,
watched
that's an
on
insane way to
Antonio.
solve your problem is like too many people are watching this. Let me pull up another one. I just don't know how
Well,
that's
yeah,
supposed to.
yeah, yeah. It's that.
Hey
I
guys,
know
there's
that
I'm gonna stop this flood by pouring my water into it.
another realization I came to after the fact,
Yeah.
just like with the Jake Paul fight in itself. But for half the fight, I watched Antonio Brown's live feed on Twitter. He was at the fight and he was just filming the jumbotron in Jerry World from the fight, and he
Yeah.
had like 5 million
I mean,
streamers
that's how you
watching
got.
it with him.
Ironically, mine kept freezing while Michael Buffer talked.
It is
I know, so it was just buffer
time.
buffering. We gotta get into last week, and we gotta get into this week because we got a great guest. Mike Keith was
Yes.
on here last week, the voice of the Tennessee Titans, and he made $1,800. He's the first. We have a new leader in the clubhouse. The club being one. This is like a children's clubhouse in a backyard with a swing set attached,
That's true.
and
Yeah.
1,800 bucks.
Well, were there any flags on the field though?
No flags on the field.
There are no. It's a miracle.
I'll run you real quick
Tennessee.
through all the bets last week. We had how many different Chiefs Bills games will they specifically bring up? They brought up all of them. It was crazy. It was like 80. They brought up every
Real
Mahomes.
okay.
There was way over we had said 3.5. They brought up 13 seconds. They brought up the first AFC championship that the Chiefs blew out the Bills. They specifically brought up all three playoff games that Mahomes had beat Allen, and then they showed the Kadarius Toney offsides play, which took us to 4. So that
So
hit the
I
over.
saw a graphic. The only I watched very little of this game because I was like in the middle of these like CMA Awards week
Yeah.
interviews. But I was able to pull it up on my laptop at one point and I watched like the final quarter, and I saw that they pulled up a graphic that was like the last 4 meetings have been decided
And that
by.
wasn't even from this where I'm pulling this.
And
They were
that's where
like,
I was watching that and I was like, if Kyle uses this as the thing to
no.
put the let the over hit, I was going to be very upset. But
We saw the Tony highlight. We saw like they showed all
okay,
the playoff games, 13 sec, and they showed multiple regular season games.
okay.
And, good for the Bills. They won their Super Bowl. And so the
No.
next bet was
It's the first Super Bowl they've ever won. Okay,
yeah, well they beat the Chiefs in the regular season last year.
that's true.
Um it's given off big Colts we made the playoffs vibes if you talk to Bills fans about it all.
Look,
Um
look, look. The Chiefs lose, America wins. So I'm with the Bills fans on this one.
I
Bills
think
Mafia, rise up.
I think if I'm a fan who hates the Chiefs, I want them to be undefeated longer. I want them to have
Well,
that
last time the
weighing on
Bills did
them
beat them in
over
the
and over
regular
again.
season. Yeah,
They beat the Chiefs in the regular season the last 2 years.
yeah. Well, yeah, and I know that every time the Bills beat them in the regular season, the Chiefs go on. It's like that's their villain origin story is what it
Yeah.
is the Bills beating them.
Earnestly, I do think this is the Bills' year, but that's not me. I think it's their year to lose to the Lions in the Super Bowl.
Great. Now you
Um,
just jinxed it.
I think the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. The next game, Jags Lions. We all bet on Lions double the size of the Jags. Will the Lions double up the Jags score? We all said no. and then they won 1,000-0. So legally by the math, I guess it wasn't a double up. It was at 52-6.
It was bad. It was how is Doug Peterson still employed bad?
There is this thing that's happening with Dan Campbell where I think he's a very good leader of men, and I worry about how he coaches because it's like, do you need your starters in up 46-6? This is just
Hmm.
how weird crap happens, and you get it's maybe not even how someone gets injured, but it's how their knee starts to hurt a little bit, and it
Yeah, but
persists for a couple weeks, and you don't see Andy Reid run up scores ever.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
don't.
well,
The
I
Patriots
think
teams,
Dan
yeah,
the toughness of the Lions is built in. Like it's a culture thing now where it's like though I think they have taken on the lifeblood of their head coach Dan
yeah.
Campbell. And if Dan Campbell has two torn ACLs, he's still going to be out there pushing a sled up a
Yeah.
hill.
Well, the Chiefs took on the lifeblood of their coach. His blood is just barbecue sauce.
It's their cholesterol is very high on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Chiefs.
So, but I think I mean, the lines are just too good. It turns out if you trade Matt Stafford for 75 picks and a quarterback who plays good, you
We
can
were
use those
making
75 picks on a lot of stuff.
we were making fun of the Lions when they did that, you know, and then they go 3-13 that first year of Dan Campbell, and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, Lions suck, blah blah blah. That they've been unstoppable
Weapons,
since then.
man. Weapons and Penei Sewell, and you're good. Bears Packers 209th meeting. It's the most anyone ever played. Would there be any mosts in that game? None. We all won that bet. Sunday Night Football. This one is crazy. Macaulay Culkin versus Kurt Russell. Are there any drives in this game between 54 and 66 yards exactly?
Yeah, the
And
Rotten Tomatoes scores of
Rotten
Escape
Tomatoes
from
score,
LA and Home Alone.
yes. And if either of these are exactly 54 or 66, you get a multiplier of the amount of points on that drive. There were a lot of drives that landed in there in this game.
Jeez.
A lot. And
Yeah, because there was a lot of
including
score. There was a
there's a
lot of
lot
like
of scoring
scoring in that
drives.
in that in that.
And a
Yeah.
scoring drive off a touchback is going to be 70. So if it's off a punt, it's going to be a little bit, including an exactly a 66-point drive or a 66
Oh my
yard drive that
gosh.
led to a 7-point drive. So we got a 7 times multiplier.
Oh my gosh.
That was my $150 lock.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I got a $450 times 7. That's a $2,100 bet for me. Everyone won money off of that, but I really made out. Music City Miracle, is there a scoring play where 3 non-centers touch the ball? No, there were barely scoring plays in that game. And then
Well, no, there were, but they were all called back because of penalty.
they were 100 yards. And then
Yeah.
Austin in Nashville, will there be more sacks in the game between the Titans and
Mhm.
Vikings or free drinks? And there was sacks,
Uh,
barely.
yeah, I got 6 beers. Shout out to all the guys at the tailgate that just kept littering me with Miller Lights,
Yeah.
and I appreciate them. And but yeah, I wasn't unable to. You know what's funny is we did this same bet week 1 in
Hmm.
Chicago,
And you got
and
a Capri Sun.
gosh, well, yes, I did get a Capri Sun there, but Chicago, I guess we did include the night before too. We
Yeah.
included the pre-party, so it was because it was like
It was
somewhere
a big
something like
change.
it was like 11 or 12 in Chicago, but I
Yeah.
will say the Chicago drinks hard. So
Yeah, I
I got
mean,
a lot of drinks
four,
at the
four
tailgates.
is one there.
Yeah, right. You know, funny enough, Chicago, the Bears once came to Nashville for a regular season game, and this is before Nashville is what it is today, like Vegas light. But they, the city of Chicago drank Nashville dry. There were
Yeah.
multiple bars that ran out of beer that weekend because so many Bears fans came in
Oh, I
town
bet.
and drank so much.
I have this when I was on that doing stand up on that cruise ship, we docked in like Cozumel or somewhere in Mexico, right there, one of those touristy places. And there was a bar that you could walk to right off the cruise ship that did a drinking contest every day where they were like at noon or at 1 p.m., when all the boats were there. They were
Yeah.
like in who can drink the most in a minute. And then if you do that, you get your name on their wall and you get to do blah blah blah. And they had a sign that was like, the only disclaimer is no one from Wisconsin is allowed. And we asked them, we're like,
It's
that's funny. No one in Wisconsin. They're like, no, it's a rule.
yeah,
It's a
that is
rule
so
that we
funny.
have, and this is in Mexico. They're like, if
Dude,
you have, we check your ID. If you're from Wisconsin, you're not allowed to do a drinking contest.
shout out to Wisco, dude. They can drink like nobody's business.
It's just some states replace water with other things. and they are one of
Yeah,
them. They're like a
right.
light beer is water, and a
Well, that's how they
non-light beer
stay
is a
warm through
soda.
the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's review our scores from last week. Mike had plus $1,800. Austin, you lost $600 because your lock was a $400 bet on the Jags not getting doubled up, and they lost by 46.
I don't like that.
So you lost $600. I gained $2,350.
I hate this. I hate this game so much.
So our totals here for the year: Austin's at 2,312, and I'm at 7,940.
Jeez. And I was inching up on you. I was getting closer and closer every week.
Yeah,
and now you're up
3,000.
You're up by over 500. No, 5,000.
Yeah.
You're up by over. Good night.
I mean, it's just that multiplier of the. It was your multipliers that keep giving me all these points.
I need Jaden Daniels to help me complete a couple of Hail Marys.
Yeah. Well, we got a good guest this week. We should get into Steve, and we got great bets. It's a weird week with a lot of buys. Bailey's Picks is back, and I think we should get into it.
Former Black Crowes drummer, Steve Gorman. Let's go. We are joined this week by former drummer of the Black Crowes and a brief stint as the drummer of the British rock band Stereophonics. People forget that, and they shouldn't. Previous host of Steve Gorman Sports on Fox Sports Radio. Now you can hear him on Steve Gorman Rocks on Westwood One affiliates and in Minneapolis. Wait, what's the station in Minneapolis?
KQRS, Austin.
KQRS in the mornings on KQRS.
The KQ Morning Show. That's what it's called, baby.
The KQ Morning Show. It's only a matter of time before it's the Steve Gorman Morning Show. Let's be honest. You can find him SGS Fox on Twitter, Steve_Gorman_ on Instagram, and Steve Gorman on Blue Sky. I'll give you 100 guesses as to who our guest is this week, but I think you only need one. It's Steve Gorman. Steve, how are you, man?
Gentlemen, better for now having joined you.
Yeah.
Aw.
Well, you are a returning guest on this podcast, and I believe it was 2 seasons ago. Season 1, you were on. Now we are on season 3 of this podcast.
This is great.
Last time,
off the top of your head math here, Austin.
thank you, thank you. You scored minus 500 last time you were on with us. So technically, you owe us $500 of fake dollars to us. So we've come to collect.
Was one of those bets that correct me if remind me, because I feel like one of the things I wagered heavily on was that there's no way in hell you guys would make it to season 3.
Yeah, that's you won. You actually lost that bet, surprisingly, just barely though, just barely.
Man.
I mean, it is. Well, it's still up in the air. I could see some retroactive removal of episodes, maybe making that a win on the other side.
I'm always a sucker. I love those stories when the fans just write a letter campaign and they go to the network and they insist on bringing it back for another season. Well done, guys. That's great stuff.
Yeah. It was my mom who wrote that letter.
Right.
Just mailed it to Austin's house.
Listen, Austin, your mom and I are so proud of all your success. I got to tell you.
Okay. All right, Steve. Steve and I produced
that joke. That joke goes back to 2011. I think
that goes back to 2011. Steve and I had a radio show, sports talk radio show that was on at nights, then moved to the afternoons in Nashville. The original iteration of Steve Gorman Sports,
that's right.
It eventually went to Fox Sports Radio. And Steve has been making that joke ever since. And not to be outdone by his cousin who co-hosted Steve Gorman Sports on Fox Sports Radio with you, Jeffrey Gorman, who anytime I would say my wife's name, he would just go.
That's it.
Yeah.
Actually, it was better than that. You'd say, yeah, so Meredith came over, and he'd say, who? And you would go, Meredith, and he'd go, and it took you, it was at least a dozen times before you recognized every time he'd say who.
Yeah, every time he said who, it was just a total setup for him to moan thinking about my wife. It's great. It's great. I worked with a lot of great guys and at companies with even better HR branches.
Yeah,
At
that's
least more
right.
active.
Yeah. Steve, we have got obviously, look, You are a drummer of very popular rock bands. You're now on a very popular morning show in Minneapolis. You've been on multiple national radio shows. And you're still, just still widely considered to be one of the richest men in music. So, because we are all people of means, we don't like to hoard all of the fake money that we win on this podcast for ourselves.
Sure.
We instead like to donate it to fake noble causes. So is
Yeah.
there a fake charity that you will be playing for this week?
I'm playing on behalf of the GLF Institute, raising money for a cure for GLF. It's something I've been dealing with since 1991. Of course, I'm referring to the Guinness Leadfoot. First time I was in Ireland, and this can happen to anybody. You pull up a stool to a bar and you order a pint of Guinness for the first time there, and then before you know it, you've had 6, 7, maybe even 8 pints of just pure black gold, and then eventually you have to stand up and hit the men's room for a slash, and then boom, Guinness Leadfoot. It's a tough walk, and so it's something, like I said, this goes back to 1991 for me. I mean, Austin, you were barely out of diapers at that point. So this is something
but I look, it was only a couple of years after that I got the Guinness Leadfoot. So
it's just something I've been dealing with for, going on 35 years now. So yeah, I'd like to see if I can't, raise some money and let those good people know that I'm supporting all of their efforts on behalf of all of us who suffer from the GLF.
It's often overlooked cause, honestly. I think that it's good to raise some awareness, pour some money towards the foundation, and since it's a Guinness Foundation, you have to pour the money in specifically in one way.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it takes a while too. You get about
a long time and has to go completely vertical into it.
Settle it down. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've seen dark times over the years.
Oh my gosh.
Based on the beer itself. So
and that they always talk about it.
yeah.
Almighty life giving, I tell you.
Okay, so look, we want to raise as much money for the GLF Institute. Not
Gilf,
to be mistaken,
if you will,
for the Gilf. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So Steve, we have got 6 bets we're going to lay out for you.
Bring them.
You don't have to bet on all 6. We do ask that you bet on at least 2, and you will make one of the bets your lock of the week, and that is double the winnings or triple the losses. Does it sound good?
You are allowed to do parlays. We don't know what those are, but you are allowed to do them. So far, none of them have ever hit, so we have not had to look up how to calculate them. It's been really good for us. So if you want to parlay stuff and figure that out, if it ends up hitting, we'll cross that bridge that we've yet to get to. I think we're like 0 for 10 on people's parlays hitting.
And again, we do not know how to cross the bridge, but we'll find a way.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I've got 3 bets here. I'll tell you my 3, then Austin will tell you his, and we can figure out my first one here. This is the alliteration repetition scoring games. There's 2 games this week where the teams' names have the same alliterative starting sound: Titans, Texans, and Cowboys, Commanders.
Okay.
So we have 2 alliterative games. In those games, we'll over under 4.5 quarters where the opposing teams score the same. So they sound the same. Will they score the same? So we have 8 total quarters here, maybe overtime as well. It'd be hard to, unless they tie, they probably don't score. Over under 4.5 quarters where the opposing teams, Titans and Texans and Cowboys and Commanders, score the same amount of points that quarter.
I'd take the under without a second thought on that one.
Okay.
You're talking about 2 games that are going to be just boat races. So I wouldn't expect to see the team
3
scoring
threes
the same
or 0 zeros. Okay, so let us know. We'll let us know in a sec how much we want that. My next one, Chiefs-Panthers game. Everyone knows this. I don't have to tell you guys this. The main narrative going into the Chiefs-Panthers game is that Chiefs-Panthers is an anagram for cheap Ferns hits.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's been talking about this primarily.
That's all they've been talking about, really.
Cheap Ferns hits, ferns, big grassy features. Are there any cheap grass fern hits in this game? Any roughing the passer, excessive roughness, but it has to be into someone on the ground? penalties. Any penalties where they're driven into the ground excessively, it's a cheap hit involving the
Now,
grass.
who's starting at quarterback for the Panthers?
I think it might be me,
Do we
actually.
know?
Yeah, Kyle might be up this week, I think. Kyle, you need to double check your schedule on that one. If not,
Yeah.
it's probably Bryce Young.
Yeah, I'm thinking if it's Bryce Young, I was thinking there might be a not roughing the passer, but a passive aggressive version of that, which is pitying the passer. If given the chance, you'll see Chris Jones not sack him. You'll see him he'll just allow him to run around
Right.
like a chicken with his head cut off.
Like the opposite,
Yeah.
the ref throws a penalty for not doing enough.
Yeah. I think the Chiefs. This is going to be the football equivalent of when the big brother holds his arm out, holds the little brother's head like this, and the little brother's swinging his arms and just can't quite make contact. That's what this game is.
Oh wow. So this is what I got. Are there any of those is a passer roughed into the grass? Any of this I do think it might be. We might see some of Chris Jones will do those sacks because he used to get called for a lot of roughing penalties.
Yeah.
Sometimes just for touching Tom Brady's helmet or breathing near him. And so he does the thing a lot where he just hugs you until the ref is like, the play is over, Chris.
Yeah.
He's just so
I wouldn't be surprised if he picked up Bryce Young and honestly, like over his head, like just ragdoll whipped him,
just grabbed both feet in one hand, and just spun him,
and quite sincere, like throws him back to the bench, and then the flag will fly. So yeah, I'm gonna say There's gonna be a cheap Fern flag thrown.
Okay,
and then there's like that like cartoonish like cloud of dust that blows up once he gets thrown over into the bench.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was the over under on that, Kyle? 0.5?
4.5. Oh no, just 0.5. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go over.
And then I'm going to, on my final bet, this is Bailey's picks of the week. My girlfriend Bailey. I asked her to pick every game this week. I don't tell you who she picked.
Okay.
Over under 6.5 correct picks for Bailey.
Man, I tell you what,
13 games.
All of the talk of Guinness and Bailey's, we are getting drunk on this podcast this week.
I will let you choose one matchup, and I'll tell you what she picked in that matchup.
So you get an idea.
Okay. In 1993, I was in El Paso at a friend's house, his family house. And I met his sister, and his sister had a 3-year-old little girl, a toddler, whose name was Bailey. And I said, "Oh, that's such a sweet name." And Bailey's mom said, "Yeah, I was wasted on Bailey when I got knocked up." So,
is that Kyle's girlfriend's mom?
I mean, I could see that.
And so I'm just curious: is she an El Paso native? This Bailey of yours?
Springfield, Missouri. But
okay,
you never know.
You never know.
So I'll let you pick one matchup, and I'll tell you who she picked on that one. But that one also counts as the only one Austin gets to hear as well. Over under 6.5 correct picks, and you don't know who she picked.
I like this bet. I mean, I just like the concept of this bet. So I'm looking at the matchups, and Bailey, if I know Bailey, and I like to think I do, she said, I think, you know how she does that thing, she kind of twists her hair. She's like,
it's classic Bailey. Classic Bailey.
I think Bailey picked the Rams over the Eagles, oddly enough.
Ooh, okay. So Rams, Eagles.
She's a Missouri girl. She grew up with the Rams.
Okay.
She feels good about them. And she said Rams over Eagles.
All right. So out of all there's 13 total games.
Right.
The over under is if she gets 6.5 correct picks at the end of the week.
I think, I mean, I couldn't love her more, but I'm going to say lower. I'm going under. I'm going under. Great. On her picks. You guys may have noticed a theme here. I'm taking every bet. Yeah. I'm not walking away from a single one.
No, I appreciate this.
Austin, I won't bet on this pick. Austin, if you want to give your over-under on this pick now, I'll then tell you guys who she picked. Well, I guess we need how much money you have. Maybe I'll hold off until the end of this.
Okay. So wait, great. you tell us who she picks after we pick on it?
Once you guys both make the pick on her over-under, I'm more than happy to tell you who she has in every game. Because your money's
Oh,
locked in.
I thought that
Yeah.
was going to help us. I thought that was like a little like, like a little like Costco sample, like
Oh,
before we
if
buy the
you want,
pallet.
I'll tell you now one game and who she picked in it, if you think that'll
Okay.
help you.
Okay. Yeah. Tell us the Rams. Tell us Rams
She
Eagles.
did pick the Rams to beat the Eagles.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, hang on,
Uh,
hang on. She's texting me right now. Yep, hang on.
It's just her and Meredith in a
Yes.
group chat.
I
Yeah.
guess I said that was your pick. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Smooch.
Yeah.
Great.
If Jeffrey was here, every time he heard Bailey, he'd be like,
All right, so Austin, your picks or your
okay.
bets.
So, the okay, so my first bet, it's gonna go, Steve. Obviously, you're doing morning radio in Minneapolis, so I had to throw a Vikings bet in there. And even though we're coming off the week that the Vikings beat the Titans, next week they play my current hometown team, the Chicago Bears. Vikings Bears at Soldier Field. Now,
Right.
my buddy Kyle and my producer on my morning show is a massive Bears fan. Section 438 season ticket holder. So he will be in attendance on Sunday. I want to know, will the Bears have more total yards against a pretty good Vikings defense, or will it take him more steps to get from the gate of Soldier Field up to his seat? It's the last row of section 438. He's going to count the steps.
How tall is this guy?
He's 5'10", probably.
Ooh.
Heavy
He
set?
would say he's 5'10". I've met
No.
him. It's 5'9".
No, not
Heavy
heavy set.
set,
Very,
lean?
very lean.
Okay.
Ran the Chicago Marathon earlier this year.
Oh
So
boy.
he's going to
Okay.
count his steps, or does he just have a watch?
He's got to watch. He's got to watch. He will look at the number of steps he's at as he's walking through the gate,
And so
then he will
entering the stadium, and he's got to get up to the back row of section 430. Oh, no.
That just strikes me as at least 500 steps.
The bear. Are you asking me if the Bears will have that many yards? Not a chance.
Yes, he probably will stop for a beer.
Yeah, not a chance.
Especially with that pregame queue. That's 80 steps in that. Like with the leaving line at the beer stand.
No, rookie quarterback versus that Flores defense. It's just a nightmare. They're not going to get any yards.
Okay. Do you want me to throw in Vikings total yards too?
Too late, Austin.
I can. We could sweeten this. Make it look, if we all agree.
Let's just leave it where we're mocking the Bears.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just continue to make fun of the most godforsaken franchise in NFL history.
Okay. All right. So, Steve,
they're gonna have to start calling Chicago the Lose D City.
Wow.
Okay.
I like it. I see what he did there.
Hang on. You're only saying that because you don't know Kyle as well as me, Steve. If I would have made that joke, you would rip me to shreds.
Yeah, well, that's how that works. Context is key.
Right.
Okay. All
Try
right.
saying it in a little bit.
My next bet, we're going to Colts Lions. I actually like this bet a lot, and it's a bet that I've been trying to figure out how to do for a while. But the Colts take on the Lions. Now, the Lions have pretty much owned the AFC South thus far, scoring at least 50 in each game against the AFC South, the Titans and Jaguars, and not allowing the Jaguars or Titans to get over, I think, 14 points. And that might be combined. So they are taking on the Colts this week.
Mm-hmm.
Which is more, the total number of Colts points or sports talk radio show that takes place in Indianapolis, the Pat McAfee show? Are there more words spoken by AJ Hawk in whatever clip on Friday? We're going to go with Friday's show. AJ Hawk, or Pat McAfee, the first clip that they tweet out from the show that has AJ Hawk in it, however many words he speaks in that clip. Keep in mind, these clips tend to be anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes in length, and AJ Hawk tends to say 2 to 4 words per segment. So, what will be more, the number of Colts points or words spoken by AJ Hawk in the first Pat McAfee clip that he is featured in on Friday?
I'm gonna go. Thank you for explaining the AJ Hawk situation, because I didn't want to have to ask, because I don't watch the Pat McAfee show. So I was trying to put it all together. And I had that look on my face like, I know what you're talking about.
No, yeah, this is
I didn't have a
definitely
clip.
a totally common knowledge thing everyone understands and
My
follows. Is
bad.
how much one guy talks sometimes in some clip somewhere from something else
Sure.
on average.
Anyone who knows a Pat McAfee show, at least from the outsider's perspective looking in, knows AJ Hawk says maybe all of 3 words
Now,
in
is he
an
the
entire
skateboard
show.
guy?
No, you're thinking of Tony. This is his brother,
Oh, this is
AJ,
his
who
son.
played at Ohio State and then Green Bay for a number of years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I
the
know.
A and AJ for Anthony? His name could be Tony Hawk.
Oh, have we ever seen them in the same room together?
Yes.
Oh.
You didn't come to my birthday party, Austin.
Did Tony Hawk's son just marry Kurt Cobain's daughter? Is that possible? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Aaron.
Okay.
Yeah, that felt like almost like they were trying to write like some sort of like ritual. I don't even mean in like a ritual, but just like they thought like world karma might sort of level out or something if they did that. Turns out they just made everyone kind of go for about an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, an hour's pushing it too. That's nice. That's a very friendly.
I have dial-up internet. You can see how my camera changed.
That's a friendly assessment. I was wondering what was going on with that. I'm going to say, here's what I'm going to say, because the Lions just blitzed the Jags so definitively. They're gonna win the game easily, but the Colts can put up some points. They've shown that this season, and the Lions, this is this far from a must win that there could possibly be for the Lions.
Yeah, this is like barely a must attend.
Yeah, you're right. If it weren't for the contracts, I imagine most of them wouldn't. But I'm going to say the Colts will score more points than AJ Hawk will say words in the first segment. Yeah, I'm in. Colts higher than AJ Hawk, neo-Neanderthalistic Dulces.
And then my last one, Aaron Rodgers. Love to poke fun at some Aaron Rodgers, not to continuously poke fun at people that appear regularly on the Pat McAfee show. But
hey man, when he was on, what's he doing these days? Because he was a great quarterback.
He is actually still quarterbacking. He's with the Jets right now. Yeah,
I think he might be the Secretary of Education.
Go figure. We'll give him a minute. He'll get there.
He is the quarterback of the Jets until he gets a cabinet
Can
position.
A guy have a cabinet position when his is only full of creatine?
Is Aaron Rodgers, obviously he has not played well this season.
No.
And even though he wears number 8 for the Jets, he was most famous wearing the number 12 for the Packers. So I am going to take this. Does Aaron Rodgers finish above or below the bottom 12 of quarterback passer ratings this week?
So is he like top 20 or bottom 12?
Basically, yeah. Top 20. So we'll set the line.
Could be 20, even with injuries, like 23 multiple play.
Right. So 20.5 is like where the line is. Is he over or under that in ranking?
Who are they playing?
The Jets are.
They have a bye this week.
The Jets. Damn it!
I'm looking at the schedule. I'm like, I don't even think they have a game.
I'm like, it's crazy that Rodgers is playing, but I benched Breece Hall in my fantasy league. It's got to be a weird game.
I was so excited about this after the Woody Johnson.
I've already forgotten what the wager was, but I'm going to take the under in this case.
Okay. No, you know what? We're gonna flip this. We'll go. Okay. We'll go to Aaron. We'll just go easy. Aaron Rodgers' successor, Jordan Love. Is he in the top 12 or not?
Is someone else something unrelated to anything? That's this bet.
Yes, Kyle. Yes.
What is?
Damn it!
Who
I was
are
so
they
excited
playing?
about
is
this
Green
bet.
Bay on a bye? Or
I'm so excited about this bet after the Woody Johnson
play the 49ers, firing their
GM. They are hosting the 49ers, and Jordan Love I'll say he's going to have a game. He's due to have a really a big day, especially at home against a weekend. Troubling because a cornered animal is very dangerous. But it's still the Niners. They're going east. Jordan Love's back home. I like that it's the later game. Going to get more eyeballs on that game. He's going to go off. So Jordan Love will be in the top.
Rodgers' game will be
quadrant.
wrapped up by then, probably.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That was great.
I feel like the Jets are even going to find a way in their bye week to not give Breece Hall the ball. They'll do anything except give their incredible running back 8 carries.
Yeah.
Steve, I am adding a caveat to this bet.
Okay.
Since I just embarrassed myself.
Yeah. Changing the person isn't the caveat.
Yeah, no. The caveat is a caveat that we have added to most bets this season. Does Will Levis get memed this week? If he does, then and you're losing the bet, you automatically win the bet. If you're winning the bet and he does, you automatically lose the bet.
Will Levis will not be memed. He's not winning games, but he's the first quarterback in history who coach sat him down and said, I don't care if you throw a pick, I don't care if you fumble. Step one is no more memes. It's fine if you turn the ball over. You just can't look ridiculous doing it. Can you just give me that? And Will said, yeah, I'm going to give it a try. And so far, so good. Not that
it is also like after you're memed this many times, the threshold raises. Like he can't just make a funny face anymore. He's going to have to slip on a fucking banana peel to actually get memed at this point, or run into a painting of a tunnel on the side of a cliff.
Yeah. Well, people don't talk about it enough, but Brian Callahan is the first Gen Z coach in the league. And so, that is all he cares about, is not how he looks on tape. It's how he looks on.
Will Levis be brat this summer?
Twitter timelines.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh my gosh.
All right. All we need now is to attribute how much money you want to put on these. You have $1,000. You are allowed to. What's up?
One more quick addition. Will Levis literally did say right before we went on here in his press conference today, when asked what progress he's seen in the offense since returning from injury. He's played 2 games since returning from injury.
Okay.
His quote, I haven't chest passed it or thrown underhand. So there you go. So Will Levis is becoming self-aware.
He knows Tony Pollard's on his team, right? I've just never seen a more weirdly. I mean, I said that, but the Jets, they run like the same offense of like, you guys know you have an effective guy right there, and they're like, we'll use him as bait forever.
Yeah.
Man, I was really hoping Will Levis was going to be the guy. I mean, I think he's got every tool other than discernment. You know what I mean? And that's kind of an important one.
Yeah. What I keep telling myself, and this will probably drive me to an insane asylum eventually one day, is that Josh Allen also got made fun of his first year in the league and got clowned for turning the ball over.
See, I think Josh Allen might have ruined quarterback development more than like Mahomes, because Mahomes, people had unrealistic expectations of quarterbacks. I wish what they took away was, because of Mahomes, we should sit guys and be patient, but instead they're like, guys should put up crazy numbers immediately. And now what they're taking away from Allen is guys who you shouldn't stick with maybe need to get paid. And the Giants
they might grow out of it.
We have it right there. And it's like, no, maybe just you got to just figure it out and not have weird coaching stuff. I mean, we end up talking about every week about how bad like quarterbacks are just put in horrible positions all the time, and so much of whether or not it works out is not even their fault.
Oh no,
like
I agree.
Aaron Rodgers.
I was thinking, I was thinking that Will is, sadly, I think he's in as good a position as I could imagine him being in. Like
especially last year,
he's got a young coach who totally believes in him and. They want to make their mark together. I mean, it's a perfect situation if it works out.
He had really good receivers. He has good receivers this year, but last year he had like incredible veteran presence and like incredible running back.
And you've got a fan base that would just, chop their feet off to have a franchise guy. If Titans fans actually believed, oh my God, we have one of these 10, 12, 15-year guys, if they felt the way Chargers fans feel, or hell, for that matter, Broncos fans already feel that way
Even
right
Bucks
now.
fans now.
Yeah, I mean, if they felt like that, then he'd be the king of the hippest city in America right now. It sucks because he's just everything. It's just like that. It's like a Ford in the early '80s. It looks like a car and it smells like a car, but you can tell the guys on the line just didn't tighten all the bolts like they should have. It's like man, just too bad we didn't quite screw those in enough all the way.
Yeah. Maybe they traded all the good guys from the plant to the Ravens.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
It is
too soon.
Miraculous how good that team is at accumulating wide receivers for other teams.
Well, every team has a culture.
For years they were known as the wide receiver retirement home. And then
it's where Dorial Green Beckham went to retire after his year.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And then they realized, oh wait, no, we should actually get wide receivers that are young and still competent. And so they did that, but then they just didn't hold on. They don't hold on to them for more than a year. Then they trade them away to either the Eagles or the Chiefs. And thus is why the Eagles and the Chiefs are both very good.
It does always end on this decrescendo of Titans talk.
My 24-year-old son, at some point a few weeks ago, was taking a loss. So he was in such a bad mood. You know what? It was the opening game. It was the Bears game.
Oh, yeah.
They lost that game. They should have never won. I mean, they should have never lost, and they did. Yeah, he said he just was. I mean, he was legitimately upset. Like, I mean, I had to like kind of say, "Hey, bud, come on. It's a football game. It's this and it's that." And in the middle of it, he goes, I mean, I understand why we moved to he moved to Nashville when he was 4. We got to town right when he turned 4. He goes, I know why we moved here, but you could have picked any team. We didn't have to cheer for the home team. And I said, I know. I just thought it would be easier. And I figured, they had said, you got to understand, bud, like, the year you were born, they were in a Super Bowl. Like,
and they were new. Right. They were new and cool, and
none of that really matters to him. He's just got a low grade resentment of me.
You already forgot that Super Bowl the day you were born?
Incredible.
You gotta make that last a while.
He told me the other day, another, just as a non sequitur, he said he saw LeBron James's quote about I'm not gonna stay around forever. Like, if my game starts to slide, I'm out. Like, and he said, I'm sitting here just thinking about that LeBron will retire soon. And Connell goes, it's going to be like, like when you described, like when Magic retired. And I was like, whoa. No, it's not quite the same. When Magic Johnson retired because he tested positive for HIV and everyone thought that meant he was going to be dead in a year. That's not the same. And he goes, well, it is to me. All I've ever known is LeBron James.
I hope someday I can meet LeBron and tell him it's exactly like when Magic had HIV.
That's right. When
now
you
go
retired,
put more cereal in your son's car.
When you retired after the longest career in basketball history, it was just like when Magic's career was cut short.
Was almost legitimately blackballed from the league for bad science.
Yeah. No, that's what he meant by it. He's had the longest career in NBA history. That he's so old. He probably will die a year after he retires.
Yeah, right. It's like he's the Bear Bryant of the NBA.
Yeah. 1 year out of coaching, and
we're gonna find out he like siphoned away talent and longevity in a basketball like the Monstars. That's just the only way LeBron has been around this long. I mean, while we're speaking, he probably is putting up a triple double down the street.
I'm fairly well. If I'm not quite sure what that reference is, but if LeBron is taking away power and longer life from somebody else, I think the source is Bronny. I mean, he's clearly took it from him.
Yeah, I think he took a little too much a couple of years ago when Bronny had an incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll gotta siphon slower. My other son's getting too tall.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. Last thing we need from you is dollar amounts for your bets. You gave us You gave us ideas of what you wrote down for the 6 bets. We just need dollar amounts. You have $1,000 of fake cash. Again, if you go back and you decide, okay, I actually don't want to bet on that one, you can take it away. But we have for the Bears, or excuse me, for the same sound the same, score the same bet, the alliteration games over
Yeah.
under 4.5 quarters. You took the under on that.
I took the under
And
on that.
do you
I
have a
want to
dollar
go.
amount you want to?
I'm just going to do $100 on that one.
Okay, $100 on that. The
Yeah.
cheap Fern hits. You did take the over on 0.5.
Yep. I'd like 100 on that one, please.
Okay, and Bailey's picks of the week. You took the under for 6.5 correct picks. We do
I
know
took
that she
the
picked the
under.
Rams versus the Eagles.
I took the under, and I'm only going to put 50 there.
Now,
Okay.
Austin, do you want to
All
place
right,
your bet on
50.
this one, and then I'll tell you what everyone did or what she picked for the games?
Yeah, you know what? I'll go ahead. I'll take the under, and I'll do $100 on that.
All right. I'll real quick rattle through, and then we'll get the rest of your money. Who she picked? She picked the Steelers to beat the Browns. She picked the Texans to beat the Titans. She picked the Vikings to beat the Bears. She picked the
Damn it.
Commanders to beat the Cowboys.
No, I'm in trouble.
Damn
She
it.
picked the Dolphins to beat
this
the
is
Pats.
bad.
She picked the Chiefs to win.
Stop.
She picked the Bucks to
Does
beat
she
the Giants.
watch football?
Oh, she's already on the over.
She picked Detroit to win. She picked Denver to beat Vegas. She picked the Seahawks to beat Arizona. She picked 49ers over Green Bay, and then she picked the Rams to beat Philly.
I
think
tell
she
Bailey
missed.
I hate her.
I think she missed about 3 games.
Money line,
There's-
I was just reading and she's listing them off. I'm like, holy fucking shit. I think she picked the point favorite in every game but one.
Yeah. Goodness.
But you
get
never
her
know.
a job with Colin Cowherd. My gosh.
Well, I'm glad I only put 50 on that one.
Yeah. It could be called the hymned instead of the herd. All right, we have the steps. We have the steps over the Bears total yards. We are looking at you have $750 left.
Yeah, I'm gonna put I'm putting $700 on that, and I'm making that my lock.
Okay, so steps over total yards.
It's sort of feels like a DraftKings promotional bet where it's like, will Patrick Mahomes pass for over under 0.5 yards?
Yeah, that's how it feels to me.
And then we have $50 left between Colts outscoring AJ Hawk's word count, or if Jordan Love in this very well thought out, very researched bet is a top 20.
I would like $1 on the Jordan Love bet and 49 on the other one.
Okay.
Oh man,
I'm making your bean counters work hard on this.
Okay. All right. So the Colts more points, $49 bet on that. $1 bet on Jordan Love will be in the top, will be over the bottom 12 of the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, listen, I think those bets look great. I think you're going to do pretty well outside of the Bailey's bets pick.
Okay.
Now, we would like to know, before we let you go, is there anyone you would like to challenge that you think you will be able to beat on this podcast?
Yeah. I think a great guest, and I think somebody that should follow in my wake would be actor, comedian, all around raconteur, and now we know him as Mr. Laker himself, Jay Mohr.
Ooh, okay.
Husband of Lakers owner Jeannie Buss.
Jay Mohr, who, correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2011, 2012, was doing doing Zanies in Nashville, came in studio to promote that show, was told that he was just doing a regular sports talk show, walked in and realized that the host of said show was the drummer of the Black Crowes.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he freaked out. And
for the next hour, it became Jay Mohr interviewing Steve Gorman rather than the other way around.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I forgot about that. He walked in and he goes, "Hey, well, no!" He just turned around and walked out, and then turned around and walked back in.
Yeah, one of the biggest Crows fans of all time, Jay Mohr.
That's cool.
Yeah. Great guy. We had a good time with him that day.
Okay.
Yeah, give Jay a ring. Get him on here.
Okay. All right. Bob Sugar himself. We will try and get him on to answer your challenge, but
If
that
there's
sounds good.
anyone to
Okay.
show the fake money, it's Jay Mohr.
Yeah,
Yeah, show him the fake money. That's that famous line.
that's it.
Okay. Steve, listen, we appreciate you. I know
Yeah.
you're a morning man, so this is basically late at night for you. So we appreciate you staying up late to do this with us, and we wish you the best of luck on your bets.
Gosh, I can't. I mean, I'm already on the edge of my seat waiting to see how I do.
I think you might hit the over on the Aaron Rodgers bet for
And
sure.
and by the way, I say that knowing full well Austin will text me on Monday, and I'll be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, right.
Who's Bailey?
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
Guinness?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me again. It's been a true pleasure.
Thank you so much.
We hope the GLF Institute receives a big old fake check very soon.
Oh, bless their hearts.
Another big shout out to Steve. So much fun. Dude, just so much fun.
Honestly, it was Fox Sports Radio did a very poor job of promoting the sports talk radio show that he had on their network, and that show could have and should have been so much bigger because it's hosted by a rock and roll drummer, like from an iconic band like the Black Crowes, and he knows sports very well, and he's very witty and he's very funny. I'm shocked that show did not do better in Nashville or nationally on Fox Sports Radio, but he's obviously doing just fine for himself, hosting a nationally syndicated rock show and a local rock show on one of the most iconic rock stations in America, in Minneapolis. So,
and just on the low, one of my favorite cities anywhere. Minneapolis and Twin Cities are just incredible. Minnesota rules.
I've never been, but I've heard
great
it's awesome.
Food. It's so cool. Prince is from there. That's all you really got to know.
Yeah, right. And he's proud of being there. Like it's a lot of times you get like these like iconic, exactly. These iconic rock stars that are from somewhere, but they don't always like John Hamm's from St. Louis, but he doesn't live there. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Outside of going to games, he very rarely spends time there.
Yeah.
But like,
did you know nice, when they were shooting? He was shooting a movie in Toronto, and they made him go by John Canadian Bacon.
Is that true? I hate you. Damn it. I hate you.
All right, let's get our money out. Let's get everyone out of here. Is that true?
What's a dumber
Why would they make someone change their name?
What's the dumber moment by me in this podcast? Is that true or not checking to see if the Jets had a bye week this week?
The problem is you just assume the Jets won't have a bye because you can't fathom Aaron Rodgers leaving us alone for a day.
Well, that's true. That's true. I thought we were done with bye weeks in the NFL. I thought all the teams had
the Ravens bye week is week 14.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
All right, here's our money. Let's lay this out. I'm going alliterative games, Titan, Texan, Cowboy, Commander. I'm going over for $100. I'm not NA on the Bailey picks. I'm going $100 over on cheap Ferns hits. It's been a while since I did an anagram bet. I'm going to do over for $250 on the steps. Colts for $350, and I'm going to lock in the steps as well.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do $200 on Jordan Love being a top 20.5 quarterback rating, or to even maybe a bunch of people get hurt and he's just not 12th from the bottom.
Okay. I like that you texted me early on this week saying I already have a bet for the Chiefs Panthers game.
Yeah, and it was cheap Ferns hits. They just struck me as good anagram teams because there's a lot of vowels and I felt like something could work.
Okay. For the sound the same, score the same, I'm going under for $300 for 4.5 quarters. And that is my lock of the week. Starting off with my lock.
Man, if one of these games ends in a tie, that could just smack the over right there. What seems more like a tie than a Titans-Texans game right now?
I mean, that's fair. The Texans, they obliterated the Cowboys last week, but prior to that
doesn't count. And it's a division game.
They were struggling a bit. Yeah, the Texans were struggling to get, and the Titans are starting to put things together. Look, don't look now, but Don't look now. But those 2-8
Hey,
Titans.
Austin, most of America won't look now.
Damn it, Kyle. Damn it. The cheap Ferns hits, I'm taking the over for $200. Bailey's picks of the week. So in the interview with Steve, I put down $100. I'm actually mathematically, I'm adjusting that a little bit. I'm going 150. So I'm going more dollar amount for that one at 150. Bears Vikings. I'm going more steps, and I'm putting $200 on that. Colts Lions. I'm going to go Colts points more than AJ Hawk words. It's so funny how little we believe in AJ Hawk saying anything.
He won't even say either of his names all the way through. How can we expect him to get words out?
Yeah, his name was Anthony Johnson Hawk, and his
first name has more A's in it than his first name. Aaron has 2. AJ has 1.
Is that what it? What is it? What is it?
Aaron. His middle name's Jaron. Jaaron.
Is that really?
No, I don't know what his middle name is, but his first name's Aaron.
What is his name? Oh yeah, no, yeah, Aaron James Hawk.
His parents really gave the first page of that baby book a read.
They're like, what should we go? Oh,
what's first and what's the name that pops into our head? All right, and what do you got here on top 20?
Top 20. I'm going. I'm actually going to go in the bottom. Jordan Love's been struggling a little bit. He struggled last week against the Bears. I'm going to go bottom, and for $50. I'm putting $50 on that.
All right. There's solid bets. We got solid bets. Just a quintessential great doing lines week. I hope everyone has good luck on their bets as well.
And I feel like, look, we don't like to say it, but we have to say it. If you like what we're doing on this podcast, hit that subscribe button, engage with all the social media clips, do all of that stuff. Follow Korked Bats at
Give
Korked,
little hearts on the stuff you see, because then 5 more people might see it and one of them might listen.
Yeah. Share it.
Yeah. You got people in your life that like
say,
sports bets.
You need to check out this podcast. It's fun. Yeah.
Tag people online you want to come on the show. That honestly works better than if we ask people to do it, they're like, okay. But if a stranger on the internet is like, you should do it, people do that all the time. It's crazy.
Yes. Honestly, any little bit helps. So we appreciate it. We're trying to grow this thing, and we've been able to get some really good guests. If you go back and look at the podcast feed, you'll see some of the really cool guests that we've gotten over the years, and we want to continue that and continue to grow it and continue to build it. But we can't do that without the help of you. So we appreciate you listening every week and hopefully laughing along with us or at us. In my case, this week with picking Aaron Rodgers' bet on a week the Jets have a bye week.
I blame Rodgers for permeating our lives too much. Everybody,
I do too.
Follow us all online. Everywhere you can find anything that's ever existed. We're at the places.
At Korked Bats. Follow that, and you'll be able to find Kyle and I very easily through that. At Korked, spelled with a K. Kyle, you got anything for the road?
No. Never have, never will.
Okay. I'm never going to ask you that ever again. All right. With all that said, I guess good luck on your bets this week, and we love you.